So my name is Loretta Gallagher. I'm the O.C.D main office administrator for the Washington province. And I'm here today to interview Brother John Mary of Jesus Crucified, who has solemnly professed and has been assigned to the Brighton Monastery since 2020. He has a very distinct event that's coming up that he is going to be participating in, so we thought we'd give you a little insight on that. And brother, you want to just announce what you're going to be doing pretty soon?
Right, yeah, on April 18th, I'm excited to be running the Boston Marathon.
Arguably the most prestigious marathon in the world, but it's definitely the oldest annual marathon in the world. So we wanted to let the OCDS and others know of this. So I'm going to do a little interview with brother here and see if we can find out more. Why did you first take up running?
Yeah, I think it was probably when I was in high school. I was just playing soccer and other sports at the time, and running was the best way to stay in shape for those sports. But eventually I realized that I had some natural talent for running, and then also it was something I really enjoyed. And so eventually I kind of, I stopped doing the other sports and kept on doing the running. And that continued really through, I ran in college because I was racing on the triathlon team. So that meant I was racing, biking, swimming, and running. And so I was doing a lot of exercising then. And then after that, once God called me to serve him more intentionally as a religious, the running just is something I've continued as more a hobby than anything else.
Yeah. So if it's a hobby, what made you first think of running the Boston Marathon? I mean, that's not something undertaken lightly.
Right. Yeah, originally I never even thought of running the Boston Marathon because Boston just seemed so far away.
Yeah.
And yet now that I'm living here in Boston, the course literally goes a quarter mile from our monastery. And so you see people running all the time. And just being here even last year when the marathon was run and watching it, it was pretty exciting. And so that really got me thinking about it, and I was like, I should, while I'm here, I should do this.
Exactly.
It's kind of a once in a lifetime chance, I think. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe twice if you do it next year too.
Yeah, that's true.
So what do you have to do to train? Well, train first of all for the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, well, a big part of it actually is first you have to qualify for the marathon in order to even enter to race into it. And that's, you usually have to run a particular time in order to qualify.
Okay.
And so I had to run a marathon last fall in order to qualify, get a qualifying time. So I ran a marathon in Newport, Rhode Island last fall in order to get a qualifying time. That way I could register and then race this year. And but the training for the Boston Marathon in particular is a pretty long process. I started, I think January 2nd was like my official start date, and so...
Do you know what January 2nd is?
The Epiphany.
No!
I think it was the Epiphany this year.
Yeah, but it's St. Teresa's birthday.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
January 2nd.
Yeah, that's
so there you go.
Yeah. So I think the total training of this marathon will be about 15 weeks total.
Wow.
And I'll run every single day of those 15 weeks, no matter what the weather it's been. We've had some pretty tough days here with the ice storms and... it's been pretty cold sometimes.
Wait, you ran through the blizzard that we recently had?
Yeah, yes, every day. Yeah, we don't have a treadmill here, so I've got to go outside. But it's good. I think it helps with like kind of a mental toughness as well. So, and then I usually what the details of the training. I've been averaging about 80 miles a week.
Okay.
So it's quite a bit of running, and usually I do like 2 runs a week are like longer, harder workouts, and then the rest of the days are kind of just slower and easier sorts of runs. So
I've heard a lot about diet too. Like, what do you eat to train for?
Well, when I'm running 80 to 90 miles a week, I just eat whatever I can. So burning a lot of calories, but I just need a lot of fuel in order to keep going, and a lot of sleep. That's something I've noticed is I have to sleep a lot more when I'm running a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I know they have that big pasta dinner or something. Are you invited to that? Do all participants do that with the Boston Marathon?
I don't think everyone. I don't think everyone does, but I'm sure I'll get a nice carb-filled meal the night before.
Yeah. Well, if you live in the Boston area, you see the TV stations all the time. They're really focusing on, individuals that are running. So I'll bet you anything this is the first time there's ever been a friar that's run the Boston Marathon. I would have to do some research into that.
Yeah.
I know for sure it's Carmelite friars.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, okay. So having said that, what would you consider a good finish time for yourself?
Yeah, my goal is I'd really like to break 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
The average is 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, so
Wow.
That's my goal. I'm hoping
Good.
that I'll be able, the signs are pointing that I'll be able to do that
Yeah.
on the race day, but we'll see. That's about 5 minutes and 45 seconds per mile.
Okay.
So it's moving pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And anything can happen on race
No
day,
kidding.
but I feel like I've put in the work up to this point.
Wow,
So.
with the weather too and everything. Have you
Yes.
tried going up Breakheart Hill yet? Or
Oh,
not?
yes.
You did? Is
Yes,
it
a
really
lot.
bad? As
Yeah.
bad as they say?
It's not too bad, but I've been running
Wow.
pretty much every day. I've been going out and running a lot of those hills. So
Good for you.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and maybe another thing I can mention is just how I see my training and running really as a part of my religious life and part of my spiritual life, because it's something that's always been very connected to me. For me, we're not just these separated people of body and soul, but we're
right.
really integrated. And as embodied people, everything that we do with our bodies affects us mentally, psychologically,
Yes.
but also spiritually.
Yeah.
And so running for me is very spiritual in a sense, and I spend a lot of my time while running, praying.
Praying, of course.
And it can become very meditative, just being outdoors, enjoying the beauty of God's creation. And even I find a lot of parallels between the training, some of the difficulties you face. Sometimes you just really don't want to be there. You don't want to go. You don't want to show up.
Right.
And it parallels so much with our life of prayer. It's very much the same test that I experience in prayer at times, of not wanting to go at times,
That's what I was
or
saying.
sometimes you're in there and it's just difficult and dry and you want to give up early.
Right.
And it really takes this determination, but also receptivity to God's grace to keep going.
The big thing I see is discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Like you really have to discipline, but that's the same in the spiritual life.
Right.
Yeah,
it is.
So that's important. So great. Oh, that's really. So if we're thinking of having people, asking them to maybe help donate for a cause, and so I was wondering if people were to donate to the monastery here, what would the funds be used for?
Yeah, I'd like to donate, really make this time of training and racing about raising money for our students in particular, because this is our student house now. Recently, decided that all of our students, Carmelite students of our province, will be studying here, and so I'm studying at Boston College, and a lot of our guys are studying at St. John's Seminary, and really that education is rather expensive, but it's necessary. It's really important for us to get good theological and spiritual education, so that then we can share that with other people, particularly with the secular order.
Right.
And so, that's really what I'd like to use any money fundraised is to help pay for our theological education.
So it's really an investment in Carmel for the secular Carmelites too.
Exactly. Yes.
That we'd be using that money for. And as you can see, they need more food. They need more. They use more water for showers. They need books. They need supplies. So this is a great thing.
Right. That's a good point, because the population of our monastery here is more than doubled, I think, in the past year with all the new students coming in, and so we're experiencing some of those growing pains. But we have to find a way to continue on and really thank God for the vocations that He's sent here.
Right. And each monastery does have to raise their own funds. So sometimes I think people think, oh, the money's just coming from the province, but it really has to be each monastery raising funds for themselves. So maybe you can put this in your little almsgiving section for Lent. But thank you very much, brother, and we're all going to be cheering you on that day. I'll be glued to the TV, I'm sure, looking for you running by with all the... How many do they anticipate, by the way? How many are registered or entered?
I want to say 40,000, but I'm not positive about that. So
Wow.
It's a
and
lot.
how do they place you, by the way, when you're going in?
When you
start.
Yeah, based on your qualifying time, you start in
okay.
different waves.
Yeah.
So like the professionals will start first.
Sure.
And then I think I should be in the first wave after the professionals. So.
Good.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much, brother. It's
Yes.
been a pleasure talking with
All
you.
right. Thank you, Loretta.
All right. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.